Навчитись рани говорити по-українськи.
Я люблю
Геть нечиста сила. Руки не просягати.
Це громадянин Швейцарії.
New satellite imagery of Crimea shows that Russian forces continue to expand fortifications far from the front line. That means only one thing. Russians are preparing to defend Crimea from Ukrainian offensive. Good job, comrades, from taking Kiev in 3 days to defend already occupied territory. And Ukrainian soldiers are striking fear before the offensive. M2A2, Bradley of the Ukrainian 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade, Magura. If you love Ukraine, take the flag. I took the flag quickly. I love the Lord God. A dialogue on the territory of the Kiev-Pechersk Lavra between a representative of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church and Russian collaborator, and a man in military uniform.
Геть нечиста сила. Руки не просягати.
Це громадянин Швейцарії. Союз православних журналістів.
Добре, у вас священник. Швейцарець, вонючий.
This is not from Ukraine, but is connected to Russians. In Mali, radical Islamists, presumably local al-Qaeda cells, attacked the base of the Wagner group mercenaries and the airfield used by them. The Islamists first used the explosion of 3 cars filled with explosives and then switched to shooting. Malian officials report that the Wagnerites lost 29 people killed and more than 60 wounded. There are no good guys here on both sides, so both way losses are fine. Russian hero is robbing the store here. Nothing unusual, really.
Завтра придите за сигарет. Пошел ты. Идите сами туда. Еще раз говорю. Сигареты, отдай сигареты. Что, ебанулся вообще? Сигарет дай мне, пожалуйста. Вот тебе карточка. Вот, пожалуйста. Все. Может, ничего не требуется. Сигарет, пожалуйста.
Only in Russia, I really don't have a clue what the heck is going on.
Друзья мои, вот что это такое весеннее обострение, вода, слишком плохая погода, новый тренд какой-то. А вы гуляете со своими мальчиками? Я не могу. Мужики просто охренели от того, что видели. Я тоже.
In Bakhmut, tankers and BMP-2 of the 28th Separate Mechanized Brigade sort out the locations of personnel in the occupiers' stronghold. Repaired German howitzers, PZH-2000, are already in service, working in Russia in the east of Ukraine. In Moscow, Russia. At the European Mall, a visitor fell off an escalator and landed directly on the Apple counter. Russian security. Russian aviation demolishes the residential areas of Vuhledar. As usual, Russia is lying that there were firing points of the Ukrainian armed forces in these houses. But in fact, Putin is acting according to the tactics of Hitler, the tactics of Chechnya and Mariupol, the complete destruction of all life, all civilians, all infrastructure and buildings. Russian Nazism in action. These non-humans are stopped only by a bullet. There is nothing human in them anymore. The lack of modern optics limits Russia's ability to produce new tanks and restore the old ones it lost in the war with Ukraine. But the Russian armored industry lacks not only optics. The Russians have a catastrophic lack of ball bearings, which they received from the US and Europe before the introduction of sanctions. Forbes. Among other things, Russian military operations also depend on trains as a mode of transport, which also use a lot of ball bearings. So the Russians have a choice: build more tanks or let the rail system fall apart. Historically, Russia imported most of its high-quality bearings from Western manufacturers. For example, in 2020, it imported ball bearings worth more than $419 million, about 55% of which were produced in Europe and North America, CSIS analysts note. The situation changed after Kiev's allies strengthened sanctions against Moscow's strategic industries in February 2022. The outlook for the tank industry remains grim. A new T-72 BM-3 or T-90M tank requires modern optics, and these optics usually came from France. But Paris deprived Russia of the necessary components, digital sights. It is even more difficult for Moscow to solve the problem of ball bearings. Uralvagonzavod and Omsk Transmash, as before, are at a dead end due to their lack. According to experts, the Russian military needs at least 150 new or refurbished tanks per month just to maintain its advanced strength on the battlefield. Given the choice between building fewer tanks or freezing transport infrastructure across Russia, Moscow did the smart thing and chose the former. As a result, Uralvagonzavod and Omsk Transmash ship every month only a few dozen modern tanks, or restored, removed from preservation. That is why, from a technical point of view, the Russians travel in time and restore old T-62S of the 1960s and old T-55S of the 1950s, which are in warehouses.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.